Hey guys, welcome to episode 8 of Multiplayer Chat. In this episode, we'll be implementing guild chat. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll open up the chat system channel enum, and we need to add a new enum and call it guild. Save that. And then let's go ahead and open up our S channel and add a new variable to this, and we'll call this guild. And the type would be GUID. Save that. And then let's go into our S channel message. And I'm going to clean up some tech debt. Let's delete the channel and the map region from this structure. We don't need it because it's in this structure here. So we'll just have these 4 properties in the channel message structure. And let's go into our chat box. Actually, let's go to the designer first. Grab the button and the text block here, Control C to copy it, and select your horizontal box, and Control V to paste it at the end. And we'll call this button channel guild. Make sure it's a variable. And we can change the text so it says guild. And the color, I'll just make it like a red. That's good enough. Let's go ahead and we'll come up here and move these a little bit closer. What we need to do is select our channel guild button, add a new click event, and we'll move that up here. And let's copy this set, paste it, and change it to guild. And connect up the execution wire there. And let's select the onSend message dispatcher. Change this, add a new input and set it to the channel enum type. Call it channel, and I'll move the channel as the first property. And let's go ahead and drag this channel right over here. Remember, we were storing the channel in this S channel messaging structure. I don't want to do that anymore. It was just, I don't think that was the best place for it. So this time we'll just pass it in as a property, and you'll see later why we're going this route. Another thing is, let's delete the player controller ID. It's always going to be 0 on a client because there's only one player controller on each machine, other than the server. So the player controller ID or the author ID in this structure, you can change it to whatever identifier you're going to use in your system. It could be a Steam ID. Maybe if your game has a server across the internet that handles player account creation and logins, it would be an identifier in your account. I probably won't cover that in this series because it's kind of out of scope, but I just wanted to give you the idea of, hey, for each channel message structure, it'll be a good idea to keep a log of using a reliable identifier which player sent the message. And I believe that's all we need to do in here. Got that. Another thing is the UTC, the datetime structures. They don't replicate across the network. There's a bug in UE4, and there's been Answer Hub posts about it, and there's a bug file on it. So right now, you'll notice that when you send a message and it appears in the chat box, the date timestamp is probably showing up as like December 31st. The date is just way off, and that's because the value gets reset when you replicate it across the network. So I might create a video of how to get around that in the future, but just know that's the daytime isn't going to show up properly. Okay, I think that's all we need to do in the chat box. So let's go back over here, and we will go into the blueprints and create a new blueprint. Its parent class should be the player state. So we're creating a new player state. If you already have a player state in your game, you can just edit your existing one. So what I'm going to store in here is the player's guild information. So far what that is going to be for me, it's just going to be a GUID. You might have a guild object in your game that contains details about the guild, but for now, to keep things simple and just show you, give you the foundational setup, I'm just going to have a GUID to identify each unique guild. The type would be GUID. So we've got this guild ID property in the player state of type GUID. I marked it as private. I'm creating a set guild ID public function. Takes a GUID parameter and doesn't have a return node. And what I want to do is I want to set this private variable to that right there, and create one additional function, get guild ID. I will mark this one as pure because it's not modifying data, it's just retrieving data. Return node. That's kind of like a design preference for me, is only pure functions. Pure functions should not be modifying data. If they just get data and return data, then mark it as a pure. Otherwise it should have an execution pin. So, and really quick, I'll jump into my game mode and configure this to use my player state. Close out of that. And then let's open up the BPI chat system, and we do have a fair amount of changes to do in here. Remember, we took out those properties from the channel message. So create 2 new properties, channel enum type, call it channel, and I've got everything set up where channel is the first, BPI map region is the second, map region, and create a 4th one and move this one up, and this would be of type GUID and call it guild, and get chat channel messages, call this guild of type GUID, watch chat channel, GUID type, call it guild, move it up, unwatch chat channel, again GUID type, call it guild, move it up. Okay. So that's the BPI chat system. We're done here. Next, let's go ahead and open up our player controller. And in here, let's go to the chat graph. We need to create a new variable and call it BP player state. We will make it private and give it BP player state object type, our player state reference. Open up the event graph really quick and go over here into Bootstrap all, make this bigger, and right click and call get player state right there, and then cast to BP player state. Connect these up, drag off here, set it just like that. Okay, and so this is going to make me restart the editor. I haven't found a way to get around that error without closing and relaunching the project, so please bear with me while I do that. That bug has been around for probably since 4.10. I can't believe they haven't fixed it yet. I'm pretty sure it's been reported many times already, because I think I've seen it in the answer hub. Let's go ahead and restore our open tabs. Okay, so now everything won't compile which is expected. So let's go ahead and create a new function and call it get guild ID. Make it private, make it pure, and give it an output of type GUID and call it guild. And in here we're going to get our BP player state variable, and we're going to call get guild ID and return it there. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's not compiling because if you remember in the chat box we modified our dispatcher event. So we have to modify our on chat send message here because we need to make its first parameter of type channel, eChat system channel. We'll call it channel. The name of the variable doesn't match, however the order in the variable type does match when it comes to the things, the signature. So the array, plug that in. Okay, now we get a successful compile. Let's modify the send chat message to server. Move that up, call that channel, connect it up here, and drag this pin over here. Connect the BPI map region up here. And for the guild right here, what we will do is we'll grab our private method here, and that way we don't have to use the player state down in here. It's just one node versus 2 or 3. Okay, we don't need this anymore. We were storing things like the map region in the channel message. We're not doing that anymore, so we didn't need that set members and structure node anymore. And connect up both cast failed and the successful cast execution pin, because if, for example, if you're not in a map region, this will fail, but if they're talking in global or guild chat, we don't care about map regions. Okay, let's go ahead and look up here now, and we're going to grab the get guild ID, pass in the guild right there, and same thing here, get guild ID, pass it in right there. And okay, I think that's it for the player controller. Let's swing on over to the game state now. So in the game state, we've added all these additional properties to the interface method, so we need to do the same thing for the internal methods. This should be the channel enum type. Call it right. So in this add channel message function, there's another variable called channel, which is why it's not going to let me call it channel. So I'll just add a second L to the parameter name, and when we go inside this function to make some updates, I'll fix that. This one would be BPI map region type. Call it map region. Move the message structure down. Create an additional one of type GUID and call this guild. And move this up. And then connect up the wires like that. Add channel listener. We need to add the guild ID. Call that guild. Move that up. Just like that. And same thing here. GUID type, call it guild, and move it up and connect those up. Let's go ahead and open up add channel message and come all the way over here to the left. Connect up the setters. Okay. Right click the guild, promote to local variable, and call it the guild. And connect it up to the message. right there. And let's go ahead, and this variable here was conflicting, so we'll rename the channel to message channel. And then we can come over here and take off that additional L, compile and save. Quick time check, we're at 15.5 minutes. Select the find message channel, add a guild parameter of type GUID, just like that. And then what we need to do, move that over about that much, grab the channel, get it, and type in switch, and switch on each chat system channels. Move that up here. And if it's global, just connect it up there. Add a reroute here, and if it's trade or local, connect it there. However, if it's guild, what we need to do is we need to check to make sure that this GUID is valid. And the reason we do that is it's possible that in your game a player will not be in a guild. And if you're using a GUID structure to represent the unique ID of a guild and to identify a guild, then you need to make sure that the guild structure is valid and it's not all zeros. Otherwise, you don't want a player to talk in the guild chat if they're not actually in a guild. So if the guild GUID is valid, then you can proceed to add a message to the channel. Otherwise, you don't do anything, and then the message won't go through to the channel. So that's why we've got that check in place, and we can. Okay, I'll just leave it like that. Let's do one additional thing. Let's create a new function called create message channel. And this is going to be a private function. It'll be pure, and it's just going to be a little helper function for us when we create a new S channel structure. So its only three parameters will be the channel, the BPI map region, and the guild GUID. And its output will be S channel, and call it message channel. And the purpose for this function is if there's, I'll go ahead and create local variables for these three properties as I explain it. So if the channel that we're going to create a new S channel for, if it's global, then we don't need to assign it a map region. So instead of us having to copy paste that code in the right here in the add channel message or the add channel listener, because both of these functions create a new S channel, instead of us having to copy paste duplicate logic, we'll just create this function. And it'll make things a little bit more manageable down the road. And when we implement this, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and grab the channel, and we will switch on it again. And if it's global, let's go ahead and add a return node. And what we want to do is grab the channel right here and call make S channel and take off all of these other properties. So if it's global, we just create an S channel with the channel that's been passed in. However, let's copy all three of these nodes, paste it down here. If it's trade or if it is local, what we need to do is we need to also pass in a map region. So pass in the map region there. Or if it's guild, let's go ahead and copy those three nodes. we need to not pass in a map region, but we do need to pass in a guild structure. Okay. And that's that function. We can delete that. Okay. Let's go back to add channel messages, and we will actually use this now. Take the channel, plug it in there, take the map region, plug it in there, break the message array, and take the guild, plug it in there, and we'll move these down. Make S channel, we don't need that. What we need to do now is we need to call set members in channel. And we need to connect this up like that. And connect the struct out to the set message channel. And then connect the message array. Oh, I'm sorry. Go select set members in channel, check messages, and set the message array like that. So the reason why this create message channel function does not take a messages array is because in this function we're setting the messages array. However, in the add channel listener we set the player array. And so that's why I've decided to just have this create the channel with the channel in the map region and the guild. So you can change it so the pure function here takes in a player's array or a messages array if you want. I just prefer to do it this way. Let's select this break, uncheck guild, and compile and save. And I believe that's it in here. Let's jump into the notify channel updated. I don't think we need any updates here. Okay, we're good here. Let's jump in to find message channel. Select as is message channel created, and we'll call this guild. It needs a new property. Guild of type GUID. Connect that up like that. We're done with this function. Now in here, in the is message channel created, we have a fair amount of work to do, but not too much. Let's go ahead and move these down. Right click the guild, promote to local variable, and I'll call it the guild. And connect that up like that. So in here, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to replace the sequence with a switch, and the map region will, so let's grab the channel and we'll call a switch on it and delete that, bring it up here. So if it's global, and I'll move this up here and move this down. If it's trade, connect it there. If it's local, connect it there. And by doing that, we no longer need that code. Make sure you right click and remove that pin right here. And then we can move this stuff up. We can move this over. And let's not forget to do this. We need to grab found channel, get it. We need to break it. And uncheck everything but the map region and connect the map region right there. And we can move this down and move this down, and we reduced a lot of large code areas. Okay, so we need to do roughly the same thing with the guild. It is slightly different. Let me refer to my notes really quick. Okay, so let's grab I'm sorry, give me 1 second. So let's grab the found channel, get it, and let's break it, and take off everything but the guild. And for the guild, let's do equal equal, and compare it to the guild that was passed into this function. Add a branch. So if the channel is of type guild, and if the guild GUIDs match, we know we found the right channel. So let's go ahead and copy those 3 nodes and connect it up to the true. Okay, and that should, we don't need this branch. Connect up the return node like that, because this switch essentially replaced our branches that checks to see if the channel matches the enums. Okay, that looks perfect. Alright, let's we're done here. Let's go ahead and go back into our chat system event graph, open up the add channel listener, and let's move these down. Right click the guild, promote to local variable, and call it the guild. Connect it like that, and drag the guild, connect it there. And give me 1 second to refer to some notes. Okay, so we do need the same thing here with that guild ID check. So grab, it wasn't the channel. Yeah, it was the channel. Grab the channel, get it, and switch on it. And if it's guild, plug it in there, or trade, or local. Or sorry, if it's global, trade, or local, plug it in there. Move this down some more. And then grab the guild, get it, and call is valid. Add a branch. If it's valid, continue. If it is not, silently fail. Let's see. Remove the guild from here. We don't need that. And right here, let's grab our create message channel function and use this instead. The guild, plug it in right there, and break that connection. We'll preserve the array creation. We can delete that now. Oops. And let's call set members and channel, and we will set the player controllers property. And we'll connect that up right there. Okay. Let me do a quick check. Make sure we pass in the struct out to the array add. Compile, save. And that's looking good. Let's go ahead and under the interfaces over here, open up get chat channel messages, plug in the guild property, and on the break we can hide the guild. And time check, we're at 28 minutes. Okay, I believe that's everything. Add channel message, remove channel listener. Oh, we've got to do this one too. Okay, let's right click the guild, promote to local variable, and call it the guild. Just like that. And we'll grab the guild, plug it in there. And there we go. Okay. I believe that's it for that. One last thing that I need to do, and this is just for demonstration purposes. In your game, you should actually have a better system to allow users to create their own guilds, invite, and invite players to the guild and whatnot. So I'll create a new function here called random GUID. I'll make it private. Come on, private peer. And let's see, I need to call a new GUID. Right click that, promote to local variable. Return node, connect that up, rename that to GUID. And what I need to do is I need to create a new variable in here called guilds, which will be of type array, private, and GUID. So it's a GUID array. And on begin play, I need to get that. I need to add a random GUID, and I'll do that twice. So I'll have two different guilds. And then what I need to do is I need to add an override function for on post login, and this is fired after a player joins the game and we get the player controller reference. So in here I need to call player state, and I'm sorry, my computer is dinging at me as people are texting me or whatnot. We need to call pass to BP player state, and in here we need to call our set guild ID function. And what we need to do is we need to get a random guild from this array. So to do that, I'll call length to find out how many guilds do I have in that array. I need to subtract it by 1 because the length starts at 1 if you have 1 item, 2 if you have 2 items, and so on. But the index in an array is 0 based, so it starts at 0 if you have 1 item. And what I'm going to do is I'll call random integer in range, and the max that I want is the total length of our array minus 1. Minimum would be 0, and I will call get to get an item by its index, plug in the random index that we chose, and just like that. So I believe that's it. Let's compile and test. I've got dedicated in 3 players, and let's go ahead and test this out. So let's make sure we didn't break anything. I did break something. Let's go back to the player controller and figure out what I broke. Nothing. Whoa, that's odd. Of course, this happens when I'm recording. Why is it blue? What is that blue doing? That's not good. Chat box. Let's make sure. Oh, look at that. Look what I did. There we go. Not sure why my screen was blue though. That's weird. What's going on there? Let's go ahead and send. Okay, we hit that breakpoint. I'll press F9 to toggle it. Resume. Okay, let's compare that. Alright. Oh, this is something else that I need to clearly fix. We can do that right after this. Let's go to the trade. Nothing, nothing, guild, nothing, global. It has something. Everyone is seeing it. Now if I move my character over here, client 1 over here, let's say I'm typing in the trade chat. If I go to trade, I don't see anything. If I go in here and join him, I see his trade chat. I can talk to him. You can see my chat messages. If I type in the guild chat, he doesn't see it because he's not in my guild. However, this guy might be in my guild. Nope. So client 2 and client 1 are in the same guild, and this guy is on his own. There's no other player that's in his guild, so no one else can see his chat. And you don't need to be in the same areas to see each other's guild chat, which is great. So yeah, that's implementing guild chat. You'll probably have the same functionality under, the same underlying functionality. The only difference is you should have a UI to allow your users to create their guilds, invite players, kick players out of them, etc. I won't cover that in this series. It's way off the topic of this series. But after this series, I'm more than happy to look into trying out or figuring out how to do that with blueprints. So thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, it helps, share, and I will see you guys next time, in which case we will probably be starting on the private chat messaging. I've already started to experiment with that, so that is going to be a really fun, that'll be a fun one. It's going to span multiple videos for sure. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.